Okay, and we're back. Today I'll be covering a small, hopefully short, and very beginner friendly combat guide for the Darkest Dungeon. Um, we'll be covering things such as game mechanics, dodge versus accuracy, application chance of certain skills, the UI and how to garner and obtain information from the UI, ambush prevention and stuff like camp skills. Maybe we'll get into. We'll be talking a little bit about action economies and more specifically why stuns are important. If you see this team here, we actually do have a lot of stuns, so I will be using them, of course, but I'll talk through it and we'll see why it's important. We'll try if we get stressed, I'll begin to talk about stress and afflictions, but if we don't, I'll talk about it after the dungeon is finished. We'll talk about provisioning and stuff like that, and all while actually doing a dungeon. So we actually get gameplay today. I actually have gameplay to show you guys today. This is live though, so I'm going to be playing as I'm speaking. This is not pre-recorded and post-narrated. But I do want to use this team. We'll be talking about team building in future videos. I do have an intermediate and advanced guide to put out later. But for now, we'll be using this team, and you guys just have to kind of trust me that it's an okay team to be using, and it is. I'll be taking you guys into the runes and a long runes dungeon, so I have a lot of stuff to talk about, and we have a lot of enemies and hopefully different enemies to see. And hopefully we get stressed, but the plan is obviously to not get stressed here. So first thing we got to talk about is provisions, since it is the provision screen that we see first. You do get 2 firewoods, which means you do get camp skills. That's actually an important thing. Let me just go buy the camp skills real quick. So you see here I'm buying all of the camp skills, and that's not actually something I recommend for a beginner because you will be strapped on cash, and the camp skills do cost a significant portion of gold in order to actually purchase them all like this. So I recommend you buy only the things that you really need. I'm doing it right now for the flexibility and showing you what you could possibly do in the late game, but it's not nearly needed for the early game. So yeah, here's the provision screen. We do have 2 campfires, which does mean that we do get to use our camp skills, and they're quite important. We do for long dungeons. I mean, food is always important. For long dungeons, I usually take 2 stacks, and the reason that we take food is because at campfires, you will be prompted to use food in order before you get to use your camp skills. You will have to pay food in order to use that, and as you walk through dungeons, you will get food checks that ask for 1 food for each of your members on the team, and so we do need food to stave off those food checks. Shovels are also important. I usually take 4 on long dungeons. You will get obstacles in the middle of a dungeon which require you to use a shovel. Do not use your hands. We will see this, and I will be talking about it again. But there is a punishment for both starving, for both not having food for those food checks, as well as not having shovels for those obstacle checks. And the punishment is a bit of health damage and a lot of stress damage. So we do want to avoid those. The last thing you want to bring is obviously torches. Um, Torches keep the light up. There's no reason to be doing a dark run in any part of the Darkest Dungeons game at all. And also, this is a long dungeon, so we're honestly always going to be full on loot. I always recommend taking at least 2 keys to anywhere, because there are chests scattered around the dungeons, and they will. It's called an heirloom chest, and it will require keys to open for heirlooms. For the runes specifically, I take some herbs and no bandages. I just take some herbs. But there's no. I'm not going to explain that too much. I'm not going to for provisions. My bad. I take herbs for provisions. The other reason to take herbs is it purges debuffs. Anti venoms, it cures blights. I don't know why they list so many things, but it just cures blights. Used to counter blights, poisons, and toxins. Sure, it just cures blights, really. Bandages cure bleeds. Medicinal herbs, they cure debuffs. Keys I just talked about. Holy waters give you a buff to your dot resists as well as debuff resist, I believe. So this is just a bunch of resists. Torches we talked about. Laudanum. These 3 things are DLC. It's really not that important. You shouldn't ever need to take them, except the blood for the Crimson Court, but we're not covering Crimson Court today. Laudanum is almost always useless. I don't actually think you should ever buy this. This is for curing horrors. Horrors are so rare of an enemy mechanic that this is not really worth buying. The only time where this is relevant at all is if you're doing a champion cove, where Squiffy Gast, the mini boss of the champion of the cove, will cast horror on you. That's the only time where you should buy this. Otherwise, you should never buy it. I do have trinkets pre-equipped on all of these people, as well as skills maxed to their level. These are all hopefully weak enough trinkets that you can get a feel for how the team works. They are all green and under, so that's uncommon and below. So let's just start the quest from there. So these trinkets are all garbage, or like they're like okay, but they're definitely not what you want to be running in the late game. So I'm trying to mimic some kind of early game scenario for the sake of demonstrating the principles I want to cover today. So we've covered stress and we've covered provisions. Damn, that was a long section. I'll be talking about pathing more in other videos. For now, I'm just gonna path, and we're gonna just get into a fight. All right, so we have a fight here. We've got these guys in the back who are casting these. Who are trying to. Oh, I do have the fast mod on. I have a speed mod on, by the way, to you guys watching. Let's see. What do I want to say? Oh, right. So these guys are stress casters. Usually in the back are okay. My bad. Let's start that fresh. Usually in Darkest Dungeon, there are two types of fights. There's race fights, which are which you're just racing the entire time to kill the enemy, and there are race and recover fights, where you're able to kill off dangerous enemies and then maybe heal off of the weaker enemies. So this fight is an example of a race and recover fight. These guys in the back are very dangerous because if you can see, we actually took some stress here. I don't know who actually took the hit. Oh wait, did we just dodge both of them? Oh no, we dodged one of them. So if had a hit us, the Tempting Goblet, you can see here in the UI underneath the skills. It's like over here when I mouse over. Tempting Goblet casts stress, and we do not want to be stressed. Stress is a very bad thing. It leads to affliction, which leads to death, and we don't like dying, right? So we want to make sure that these guys get as few actions as possible before we kill them. So as you can see, they're also very high speed. They're 8 speed, and we don't have anyone who's close to 8 speed. Our fastest person is this Plague Doctor at 7 speed. So it makes sense that they went before us, but now we high rolled a little bit, and now we can go before them. We want to deny them as many actions as possible so that we can kill them without them stress casting us. So something like Blinding Gas here from the Plague Doctor, which is an AoE stun, which stuns both of these guys, is a very powerful thing to do right now. So we're going to take this Blinding Gas, and we're going to attempt to stun not only this guy, but also this guy in the back. So he lost his action this turn. We did high roll again. So again, we want to be focusing these guys in the back. These guys in the front are actually very harmless. They will be trying to recover off of these guys. So we do want to hit these guys, and let's throw some attacks out. Oh, also another part of the UI here, if you can see, it's over here when I mouse over him, is a detailed explanation of what you can expect to happen. Hero to hit, hero to crit, hero damage is what I want you to look at right here. Hero to hit is your chance to actually hit the enemy. But it does lie a little bit. You actually have to add 5%. The game gives you a hidden 5% to this. So in reality, instead of 78% chance to hit, I have an 83% chance to hit this enemy right here. If I am able to connect with that 83% chance to hit, I have a 17% chance to then crit. And a crit will deal 1.5 times the maximum amount of damage that I have here. So it's displayed that I can deal 5 to 8 damage. So what a crit would do is it would take 8, multiply by 1.5, and then deal that damage. So if I crit, I would deal 12 damage. Otherwise, I would roll a number between 5 and 8. Number between 5 and 8 seems fine here. We did low roll a little bit. And now we have to use Hellion to kill this with Iron Swan. Right. After any character in the game gets stunned, they do get that temporary stun resist, and it obviously only lasts for 1 round. So we can actually do the stun again if we wanted to. But I think I'm looking to kill this enemy this round. It only has 12 HP, and we do output a lot of damage. Good, we got that crit there. It did do 12, like I said. So now, okay. So here's the question. You need to ask yourself: are you actually do you think that my team is beat up enough that you think I should heal here? I think that it's a little beat up, but it's not that big of a deal. It's only 5 HP on Hellion, really, that's missing. So really, we're looking to actually kill these guys, and it's the same idea. You can recover off these guys, but if you don't, then you want to minimize the pain that they're going to inflict on you, right? So if we take this, if we use Judgment right now, we're not going to kill. Only 11% of 11% of the time will we crit and kill one of these guys. So that's not really that high of a chance. So we should actually take this stun instead, so that he doesn't take an action, bumps into our and attacks into one of our characters over here. Let me just check something real quick. Yep. So I'm gonna take this stun right here, and of course we do nail it. Oh, I guess I should talk about application chance next, but we missed this kill, which I thought we were gonna get. Right. This is always going to kill because it's 95% chance to hit, which means it's 100% really, and it always does 2 to 2. We do want to kill this. Right. So that kind of gives you an idea of why stuns are important. I'll try not to talk about stuns as much anymore since we have covered it a little bit, but I'll mention it from time to time. Bump here. Okay. Again, this is a race and recover fight. These guys in the back are more dangerous than these guys in the front. These guys in the back will attempt to AoE you. We did get a surprise though, so which means our entire team will get to go first, and then their team will go, and then it goes back to regular speed rolling. So in this scenario where we get a surprise, I actually recommend that you try and deal damage instead of stunning, because all of your entire team is going to go anyway, right? So you can actually probably get kills before these guys take their actions. Like for example, this Hellion here, he has a 5 damage over time on him, a 5 damage blight on him, so he's actually at 9 HP, which means this Hellion, which does 8 to 16, is a very good chance to kill. We just have to not roll 8. Sometimes we roll a crit and it looks amazing. So again, same idea. We do want to do this. Is that lethal? No, we're off by 1. So we should take the move that does at least 1 damage, but also has the most accuracy, which is Dazzling Light. We should do this. So now we've killed both the backliners. These guys in front are going to beat us up a little bit, but we can heal through it. We will definitely be healing in this fight. We did take also a bleed here. Fine. We took a crit. That's unfortunate, but again, we can heal through this. We are decently fast. We can actually use Plague Doctor to heal this bleed. Probably doing an AoE heal with Vestal. Since we are now in the kind of stalling phase of the fight, we do want to aim to not kill these guys that fast, but Blackjack maybe for a stun is a good idea. Let's take an AoE heal, like I said. Good. Alright, we got a crit. That's good. We're gonna just beat this guy up. Maybe we can get a heal in here. Yeah, we have a little snaky heal in here. Alright, is that lethal? It is. So since it's lethal, I am going to take instead a self-heal to attempt to crit heal myself for a stress heal. Alright. Oh, that's right. When you crit, your characters heal a bit of stress. I haven't actually talked about that, but I think you've seen it. Also, when you crit heal anything, that character heals some stress as well. So taking those defensive actions is a good idea when you are free to do so. Oh, let's bump this light. Okay, so this is our first example of a full race fight. What these front spiders do is they mark you, and this back spider does a lot of damage to mark targets. So this is a fight that you really can't race and then recover in. These guys are all very dangerous. So, but the most dangerous is this green spider in the back. I don't think I can. I can kill him, but it's an 85% chance to hit, and I have to high roll my damage. So I think I'd rather take a stun here. As long as this doesn't get an action, I'm feeling a little better. We can then look to maybe do some damage. I'm pretty sure Hellion can kill, so I'm gonna actually throw an action here. That is lethal. That's good. Hellion can definitely kill this. Hellion or Houndmaster can kill this. I'm gonna use the Houndmaster. Okay, looks good. That was a full race fight. We can definitely not recover through that stuff. So I'm glad we were able to dismantle that pretty easily. Do I want to talk about these? I don't think I do. This is probably for a later video. Just know that that was a damage buff. Oops, forgot to bump the light again. Okay. So this is a full race fight as well. We actually surprised them all. Which means we should take this action instead. Is that true? Yeah. Because now if we do this, the Vestal can actually get a kill. She can actually contribute to killing these guys in the back. And maybe we can concentrate on these guys in the front. Though Houndmaster, I'm going to eat his biscuit here. We're going to just try and hit, but obviously we miss. So now we actually do have to invest actions from Hellion into the back. We missed again. I should probably take this slower so you can see the bar here. Yeah, I'll take it a little slower so you guys can see the chances. What else do I need to talk about? Dodge versus accuracy. So yeah, let's talk about dodge versus accuracy. How do we derive? I want to talk about how to derive your actual hit chance. Like, how is that calculated in the game is what I want to show you right now. Right. So, this Vestal here, let's talk about Judgment. Judgment has 95 accuracy, right? So 95 accuracy. We don't have any quirks that buff accuracy. We don't have any trinkets that buff accuracy. So we're working with 95 accuracy from Judgment is what we're working with. And this Weber here has a 15 dodge. So 95 minus 15 is 80. That's how it's directly adding and subtracting your accuracy to the enemy's dodge. That gives you your hero to hit number, and then we add +5, the hidden secret 5 that I talked about earlier, to get your actual chance to hit. So this is an 85% chance to hit just by doing Judgment's accuracy minus this thing's dodge. We do actually have to hit this. Dazzling Light, which has 5 more accuracy than Judgment, 100 instead of 95, has a 5% more chance to hit. And we're going to take that action here, because we only need to deal 1 damage. This guy's already dead. Right. Good. We resisted all that. Oh, yeah, I have to talk about that too. Resistances. We'll talk about in the next fight. In the next fight where it's applicable that we use Plague Doctor for that. We are starting to clog up our inventory since I've not been paying attention to it a little bit. So let's start trading some stuff out. Here's the chest I was talking about with the keys. It also gave me a key back, which is kind of cute. I'll take that key. Application chances UI. UI I've talked about a little bit. Ambush prevention is probably... Okay. Right, so this is a race then recover fight, because we have actually 3 characters which are really threatening. This guy is also a stress caster. This is a stress caster, stress caster. This is a high damage output enemy, and this is actually a pretty high damage output enemy too. So we need to kind of stun here, I would think, because we want to prevent these dangerous enemies from acting. Plague Doctor is one of the best stunners in the game because she can take out 2 actions using only 1 of yours. Hellion is also one of the best stunners because she could do the same, but I think I want to use her for attacking here because we do need to get rid of some of these enemies. I think I'm going to throw it onto this guy too. He's a more dangerous stress caster than this skeleton boy here. So we're going to try and kill him. We actually roll exactly what we need. That's good. And I'm going to eat a biscuit here to make room in our inventory, but also this is a hard fight. This is warranting of a biscuit. We also high rolled that too. Nice. So here, okay, here are Hellion's 2 options. I mean, here are Vestal's 2 options. She can either attempt to Judgment this guy, or Dazzling Light this guy. This guy you can see hasn't gone yet. I think the more appropriate thing is to Dazzling Light here, so he doesn't get an action. You can see we're kind of preventing a lot of damage to our team by just using stuns, which is definitely one of the biggest reasons to use stuns at all. Good, we crit again. Good stuff. Oh, let's talk about application chances since I keep forgetting to do that. So, whenever you're trying to apply bleeds, blights, stuns, moves, whatever, they always come with a % chance to do so. So this stun, Blackjack here, has a 120% chance to stun, and we have a trinket that gives 25% extra stun skill chance. So in reality, this has a 145% chance to stun, and you can see in this area of the UI when I scroll over him that this enemy now has 75 stun. It is a direct addition and subtraction type of deal. when we're calculating stun percent or blight percent or application chances. So we have 125 and he has 75, so there's actually a 50% chance to stun right here if I were to take this action. So I had just messed up the math there. I had already did the addition, and we have actually 145% chance to stun. And then for some reason in my head, I changed it to 125%. We actually had a 70% chance to stun that skeleton in front with Blackjack because we have 145 minus the 75 stun resist that the skeleton was showing, which means we did have a 70% chance, which means that stun was actually very worth it to take. So I stand by my decision. He actually has a 50% chance a stun resist because we stunned him last round. So in reality, if he wasn't stunned last round, we would have a 100% chance to stun here. But I think this action is still worth it probably because otherwise we'd have to really high roll the damage. Oh yeah, here's something else to talk about here. We have a 110% chance to bleed with Hound's Rush, but you can see this enemy has a 200% chance to resist a bleed, which means we will never bleed this enemy. We have a negative 90% chance to bleed this enemy. We'd have to put 90% of difference between with trinkets and debuffs in order for us to even have a chance to bleed this enemy. Skeletons obviously cannot bleed. This is very flavorful for the game, and I enjoy that. I think the stun is probably more appropriate here because otherwise we'd have to roll perfectly the 10 because we'd have no chance to bleed, as we established before. So let's take the stun here. We can roll 50-50, and we get the 50-50 to not take an action. I believe all throughout that fight, we only took maybe 1 or 2 actions from the enemies, and that's pretty impressive considering all those enemies are really dangerous. Definitely another case. Definitely me just trying to hype stuns up again. Okay. Another fight here. We did have a stress cast happen to us. If we high roll this and also bleed, then we do get the kill here. So we have to roll not only 13, but also bleed. The bleed is 120 minus 20, so we have 100% chance to bleed, so we really just have to roll 13, is what this means. Or we can crit. I think this is worth an action. Either that or we can attempt to take the kill here. This kill is actually a lot more likely, so I'm going to do this instead. We're going to try and disable this with a Plague Doctor. Yeah, we're going to do that. These guys in the front are a lot less dangerous than the Stress Casters. Stress Casters are always going to be more dangerous. So I'm okay with them taking actions as long as I have the Stress Caster to focus on. So again, we have 75% stun resist here against our 125. This is probably not worth it. This is probably an action that you want to do damage with because we also have a Vestal coming up that can also hit this exact same position. 5 to 9 with bleed 1. So we really just have to roll 6, and that's good. Alright, so we can now recover off of these guys. You do see that we did take some damage. We can now use Yop, stun both of them. Good. Now we can take all 3. Now see what we did here? We just stunned all of the enemies, right? Which means we got 3 actions here. And then we're going to take 4 actions while they only got 2. So we're going to get 6 actions now before they even get to use... We're going to get 3 actions before they even get their actions. And then we're going to get 7 actions, my bad. We're going to get 3 now and then 4 next turn before they even... While they only get 2. Within these 2 turns, because we stun both of them, we get 7 and they get 2. That is a very big deal. We will use some of these 7 actions in order to heal ourselves. But also, we're going to be looking to start to knock more HP off these guys. So he's dead next turn, so we should put all of our damage into this guy. So he's 6 dot, 5 HP. Oh, he got to go, even though speed's lower than most of ours. Okay, we could have stalled a little more in order to... Actually, wait, no, he's still alive, my bad. Perfect. We can heal again, now we're full HP again. We can actually try and crit him for a stress heal. Good. A little stress heal there. Okay. Is that enough? Should I start talking about camping? Yes. We've covered almost everything except for camping. Okay. So, oh, this is a neat tip, by the way. You can switch your skills in the middle of a dungeon, by the way. So, if you want to do, like, something like this, yes, you can make that. You can make your Houndmaster have these moves. This is the same for camp skills. You can also switch them mid-dungeon. That's why I wanted to buy all of them and talk about them. This is something you should be doing before every camp if you if you have multiple camp skills, you should be looking at your characters and seeing what you want to do. We've got a Houndmaster with a decent amount of stress right now, so we're definitely looking to take Man's Best Friend so that he can stress heal himself. We're also looking to probably, since that's really our only standout issue, we're looking probably to use the rest of the camp skills on buffs. So the biggest buffs on this team are Hellions. So these two we want, and I'm just going to click these just to have more camp skills on the bar. So we're looking to right now use two skills, 2 points, and then 6 points. So we have 8 points out of our 12 already allocated, and then we have 4 more points. The 4 more points we could spend on Bless. I personally would spend it on Bless here onto either Hellion or Houndmaster. But as if you are a beginner, I actually recommend you spend it on something called a prevent nighttime ambush. At every camp, after you've done everything, there's a chance that you get ambushed, and you will enter a fight where your characters get shuffled. It's probably going to be a hard fight because your characters are going to be shuffled out of position, and most characters like to stay in position. So I recommend using a skill that prevents nighttime ambush. The Hound's Watch is better than Sanctuary in this case for a few reasons. So I'm going to equip it, and we're going to go into the camp. Oh, so here's the camp. Yeah, here's the eating portion of the camp. We can go with either 0 stress, 0 HP for 2 food, some HP for 4, or for 8 food we get some stress heal and a lot of HP heal. You can see our HP is fine. It's really a matter of a question of do we want the stress heal or not. Oh, or you could do none, which will stress your characters 15 each and also lose 20% of their HP. I'm going to take the feast option here since we do have so much food anyway. So we've already established what we wanted to do before the camp. So let's do those things. We want to click Sharpen Spear, Battle, Trance. We want to heal the Houndmaster for 20 stress, and also click Hound's Watch to prevent the nighttime ambush. This nighttime ambush actually comes with something as well. It comes with some surprise chance and anti-surprise chance, which is also very neat. So we can more consistently surprise our enemies. Right. So I've kind of given you an idea of how this team functions. I don't think I need to cover anything more about this team specifically or any other game mechanics. This is part 1 of the tutorial. I'll be using another team in the next one, and we'll see how that team does. And I'll show you kind of how this team is not the only team that can do what I outlined. I will finish up a few more fights though. Maybe we'll just sit a little quietly and you could just kind of gander at how the team functions. So you don't have to hear my terrible voice while we do that. I'm just gonna pass most of the curios. This is not a curio focused. This is not a curio focused guide right now. It's just a combat guide. So we're gonna ignore most curios where I have something to talk about. I don't want to think too hard for the curios. I am thinking already pretty hard for the combat to make sure this gameplay is as perfect, or what I deem to be as perfect as possible. I'll speak up when I think there's something important. Oh, yeah, wait, we haven't actually encountered any obstacles. So yeah, um, this is a obstacle, and these occur in every single dungeon, and you bring shovels in order to clear them. If do not click this. If you click this, you will clear it by hand, and your characters will take the stress and healing penalty. Instead, click this here, and you'll clear the rubble for no penalty. Running low on torches. I might have underprepared, but it looks to be looks like we can finagle it with some campfire stuff. Um, this was a race. This was a race and recover fight, and I crit the Iron Swan, which is beautiful. We do still want, since we surprised them, we do want to take aggressive actions to try and limit the number of enemies we have. Again, we want to stun. This guy's more dangerous than this guy generally. Like the brawler and the witch that was here, they are generic enemies that are found in every dungeon. Those enemies tend to be weaker. The area specific enemies tend to be stronger and more problematic. If you can, and if you have the choice between stunning an area specific and one of the others, um, stunning the area specific one is generally better. So I just hit the corpse there in order to get a Vestal turn so I can do an AoE heal to heal everyone. This guy will die to the damage over time, so that was the reasoning for that. I'm gonna try and stress heal myself with a crit heal. Nope. I think that'll be the end of this. We could. I mean, there's two more fights. Let's just do them. We'll do these two fights, and I'll call it the end of using this team, and we'll figure out whether I want to include the other team in the same video or not. Yeah. So again, we surprised them. This camp skill has been actually very powerful. He'll be dying, so let's actually take this stun here. We crit, so actually this stun does a lot of damage. Okay. Good stuff. We didn't get a surprise this time, so this is something we can talk about. This is definitely a blinding gas type of fight. Oh, this is actually a very good chance to kill, because if we buffed her, this is surprisingly a very good chance to kill now. We do have no chance at all to bleed, but it's a 50-50-ish chance to kill. Yeah, let's take it. And we got it. Do we want to stun here? I think we can kill if we put actions. If we put all three of our actions into this guy in the back, we can definitely kill. So I'm looking to do that. This guy in the front is actually very harmless overall, but this guy's the dangerous one. So we should be looking to disable this guy if we can. We did miss with the Houndmaster, which is unfortunate, but we did get the kill still with Judgment and Vestal. Oh, I guess something I didn't cover is accuracy for the enemies works the same as it does for you. So each of their skills has an accuracy, and it's that accuracy minus your dodge plus 5. That's the chance that you will be hit. Oh, and here we have an interesting decision. So, should we heal here or should we take care of an enemy here? I think it's up to you what you want to do here. Between healing and taking care of an enemy, maybe a stun is better overall. But you're gonna have to look at things like speed. These guys are actually really slow, so we can actually expect our characters to go before them, so I'll take the heal here. This guy, in fact, that only has 5 HP, so we can actually take this. We low rolled and got a 4, so now we have to use this action. In reality, we're going to actually do a Yop here and stun both of them. So now he's dead before he can act again. That's very good. Yop does come with debuffs, but it's fine. This is another 50-50 to do the stun again. I think it's pretty worth trying. Yeah, let's talk about that. When you crit a move that has a secondary effect, it actually has a 20% chance more to do that application. So we had good chances to apply those two things there since we did crit. All right. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching.